town, I met the grain trains rolling down every day. 100 trains, every train, 100 cars, every car, 100 tons, every ton, 100 sacks, every sack, 10,000 grains. And that's what cities get from trains. Some politicians lacking brains said in voices dripping sweet, we don't really need these trains, railroads all are obsolete. They're union strong, it makes demands, they guard their yards with railroad dicks who kick our cops clean off their lands, do not like our politics. As I was going up from town, I met the grain trains rolling down every day. 100 trains, every train, 100 cars, every car, 100 tons, every ton, 100 sacks, every sack, 10,000 grains. And that's what cities get from trains. So the politicians passed some laws to screw more money off the trains and deeper dip their pudgy paws in more control of railroad gains. The railroad said, get off our land. They went on strike to show their peak. The grain train stopped their rolling and the city starved within a week. As I was going up from town, I met the rain trains rolling down every day. 100 trains, every train, 100 cars, every car, 100 tons, every ton, 100 sacks, every sack, 10,000 grains. And that's what cities get from trains. Hunger riots burned and rose and battered down the State House door, and all those fat politicos were killed and eaten by the poor. And with the city out of joint and no more politician men, the railroad said they'd prove their point and sent the grain trains down again. As I was going up from town, I met the grain trains rolling down every day. 100 trains, every train, 100 cars, every car, 100 tons, every ton, 100 sacks, every sack, 10,000 grains. And that's what cities get from trains.
Good morning, Minecraft. Wandering Beekeeper here. How you doing? Brace yourselves. Content warning. I'm going to talk about some political shit, and I'm going to swear about it a lot, and I'm going to be talking about being an old queer man living in the Pacific Northwest where weed is legal. Alright. Anthony Albanese, Prime Minister of Australia, is a Nazi. Anthony Albanese, Prime Minister of Australia, is a fascist. Anthony Albanese, Prime Minister of Australia, is willing to raise the teen suicide rate by isolating teens from their peer support group in order to seize government control of all social media in the country and deny adults their rights to privacy and anonymity. I mean, if the dude is willing to kill children to get what he wants, what else can you call him? God damn it, my trans daughter moved to Australia just a couple of weeks ago to join her fiance. They've been engaged for about 2 years, and we thought she'd managed to reach maybe some kind of point of safety, but fucking no. God damn it. What is fucking wrong with you people? What horrible thing did your parents do, or what was missing from your childhood that led you to become a person who enjoys hurting others? Get therapy. For God's sake, get therapy. Yeah, and I just lost a viewer. Not really caring about that. I'm used to shouting into the Void. The Void and I are old friends, like a lot of people, you know. The Void is old friends with a lot of people. And yet, somehow, when you go sit at the bar, you don't see anybody to either side of you. It's just you and the Void. I'm accustomed to talking into the void, shouting into the void, delivering my art into the void. 99% of my art output that I've actually completed has gone straight into the void. But that's another rant for another time. Part of this is triggered by the fact that the lead dev of Immersive Geology is going to be going offline because they're not willing to hand over a government picture ID in order to be able to use Discord. And, Discord is the primary platform for support of Minecraft mods. It's just been such a goddamn thing, I am 62 years old. I am arthritic as hell. I have trouble getting up 3 flights of stairs. All I got left is an open microphone. And I got a new beta of Immersive Geology. This is the 083. It has a few bug fixes and model fixes and so forth, and we'll see what we've got. The big deal here is that I'm about to finish off a row on the trophy wall because while I've been doing all that stuff with the steam turbine, and we'll go look at that in a minute because I did do some stuff with it and got rid of the creative accumulators and got it set up properly. It lends itself to a different approach, and we'll talk about that in a minute. I've had an awful lot of processing going on. I mean, you've seen me running around and dropping stuff into the ball mills and putting stuff into the recrusher and into the gravity separators and so forth, feeding the blast furnaces, and the upshot of all of that, and let me get my notebook out because, yeah, this mod it requires a notebook. Let's see. Let's start with make sure I'm in survival mode so that I actually place these things. Let's see, I have cobalt. 1,200 ingots of cobalt had dropped into the central storage and it's still ticking in, and I just hadn't pulled one out. So there's cobalt. And we also have, let's see, we have constantan. This is an alloy that is made over in the alloy kiln, and I just hadn't gotten around to making it for some damn reason. And over in the alloy kiln right now, we have bronze. And let's go on and place bronze and constantan and cobalt. Get those put in. Yes, the cobalt metal. Greetings. Hello, Queen Freya. Welcome. Let's see. Bronze and down to the bottom, and we have, whoops, come here. Stop that. There we go. Zinc. Hello, zinc. I know exactly what you smell and taste like because zinc is used for galvanizing metal, and I worked with a lot of galvanized steel over the years. So yeah, it's basically galvanized steel is zinc plated. Prevents rust and holds down corrosion, but you get, there's some some zinc oxide that rubs off, and you get real used to the smell of galvy. It's very distinctive. Metallurgy is one of those sciences where you can occasionally lick the science. Geology more often, but still, there's an awful lot of things involved here that you should not probably get that up close and personal with. Okay, that is 4 new medals on the trophy wall at the start of the stream as promised. So, trophy wall has increased considerably. Let us go increase it again because I need an ingot of hastelloy. Haven't made any because I haven't made a full-on chemical reactor. I've been doing everything with the small reactor, which uses stainless steel. Hastelloy requires me to go to the arc furnace with nickel. Let's just jot this down here. This is 5 different metals. Chromium and molybdenum. Oh. Iron and tungsten. Various news has me massively over-revved. I am in the middle of apparently an extended hypomanic cycle, which means that my skin has come off and the entire world is made of sandpaper. Welcome to the joys of hypomanic bipolar. I don't get the fun bouncy part. I get this. So, yeah, I'm on a mix of Gorilla Cookies and Super Lemon Haze. Going to go back to Green Lady today and see if they have more. They had the Super Lemon Haze on the clearance rack for $20 for an eighth. And I'm like, I can't pass that up. So I'm going to see if they've still got any on the clearance rack, and if so, I'm going to grab a couple of eighths. You know, $40 for a quarter is really nice, actually. About half of what I usually pay. Molybdenum. And it is an interesting thing. I'm going to maybe have to make more molybdenum. Oh, well, no, that's actually not a question. I am going to have to make more molybdenum. Let's see, here's the nickel. Down here will be tungsten. Here we go. Going to definitely have to make more molybdenum. I have a thing going making molybdenum, and I just need to go have a look at it. Let's go see. First, I want to stop here at the arc furnace. And we're going to run nickel against chromium, molybdenum, tungsten, and iron. Ooh, gonna need new graphite electrodes in the near future. Okay, gonna hold that for just a moment and walk off around this way. Hopefully I remember correctly here. Unfortunately, placeholder. Okay. We have some cloudy molybdenite amide, enough to run this thing. Let's see what I've got in here. I am actually doing pretty well on ammonia. I need to kick over from here. This no. What is this running? Oh, this is running the ammonia against molybdenite slag powder. Silly me. It's ready to rock. Let's rock it. I would include a reference to Herbie Hancock here, but YouTube has gotten so persnickety and so overbearing about copyright. That's another thing that's I'm torqued about this morning. Okay, I got 12.9. That is enough to run this thing for a few minutes here. Let's kick this on and just dump the whole mess. I'm going to wait for it to drain out, which is going to take a minute because this thing's going to have to process. It's having a little bit of a struggle, but it's managing. Not going flat, so it's getting enough, just not enough to build back up. Let it run, let it run, let it run. Apparently, Leslie Fish's music is now has been signed over from Random Factors to CD Baby. CD Baby is asserting copyright on the song I'm opening with, but says that it won't become an issue until I try to monetize my stream, which is yet another argument for never monetizing my stream. So, yeah, thank you, YouTube. You've helped me stick with my decision to not go for affiliate and to not attempt to monetize on YouTube and to not bring money into my art because capitalism destroys everything. We are still running cloudy molybdenite amide. I really want to get more of this through. Now, granted, it's going to be firing it off straight off into the inventory. I'll have to go reroute it to where I need it. Let's see. Let me back up to here and look at molybdenum ingot, and that's molybdenum oxide pellet, which we get. Well, here we're getting it from pyrite slag. Here we're getting it from molybdenum compound dust. Where the fuck does... Hold on a second. What the fuck am I even doing? Cloudy molybdenite amide. If we crystallize it, we centrifuge it, we get molybdenum compound dust. There we go. We're getting the... We get the molybdenum compound dust, which we then rotary kiln to get the oxide, which we then pelletize. Okay. All right. Confusion dissipates when you check the recipe. Then it has to go here at MV. So it's going to go to our local rotary kiln around the back. Here is our MV rotary kiln, which is currently running nothing and just running up the power bill. Let's get it doing something. Where is the molybdenite? Here is molybdenum compound dust. Okay, molybdenum compound dust. We walk around here and reach up and key that and then drop that in around here, and we see that we are processing molybdenum compound dust. So the molybdenum compound dust It's put through the rotary kiln because it becomes the oxide and goes to the pelletizer. I need to go to the pelletizer and key it to the oxide. Let's get around there. Make sure the pelletizer is not doing anything already. It has a tendency to choke if I put more than one metal in it at a time. I'm having a problem with that. And where is our... Let's see. I've overshot a little bit. I just need that little bit of it. Thank you. Molybdenum oxide, and we pop it to there, and we pop it in there, and send it into the pelletizer. I would say Q Powerhouse, but I am currently having to dispute a copyright claim on the snippet of Powerhouse I used. I have had to formally justify in capitalist terms that I have used a brief bit of the work, not the entire work, for the purpose of social and cultural reference and commentary, and justify it as a transformative use. I've had to write up a formal document talking about my art in capitalist terms so that the capitalist can understand that it is, that yes, this is art by their terms. It disgusts me that I am having to describe my art in capitalist terms to begin with. Yes, I am very ranty this morning. Thank you for noticing. Let's go look at the steam turbine while all that is processing. Give that a minute, because the steam turbine, well, the alternator now has a whole bloody Christmas tree around it. Some very expensive cable, which connects as to all three of these ports, because the three ports need a block between them so that the cables don't connect to each other. Unless, I can, like, dye the cable. I didn't try dyeing the cable. I know I can dye the fluid pipe. If I can dye the EHV cable, that would be cool. Would take care of the problem. In the meantime, yeah, I'm running it looks more like an oil refinery. I'm running a sort of a Christmas tree here. And so I've got massive amounts of MV waiting to go out to the new machinery lines going into this area. I need to flatten this area by 1 block. I will do that off stream. But yeah, I need to take a layer of block off here. Leave this sitting up on a ridge. I'm actually quite good with that. That raises the wiring up a little. Sometimes quite useful. And so, yeah, there is also HV immediately available right there. I just haven't tapped into it yet. I need to put a rotary kiln over here, probably like right here, and tap directly off of the HV here. For that matter, I could put a rotary kiln here and just run a little bit of EHV cable over and connect the EHV to it and see what happens. Now schmuzka pop. Run it directly off the alternator. It says that the alternator is 3 to 4 diesel generators. Let's just take a rotary kiln and hook it right up to there with the big cable. Actually, I could do that right now while I'm waiting for the molybdenum to make the hastelloy. Do I have a rotary kiln blueprint? Where is my rotary kiln blueprint? Where is my flat, smooth river rock? Need to find my flat, smooth river rock. maybe a Dave Gardner reference won't get me in trouble for IP, you know? Oh, hey, I can see the grid. Yay! I can see the grid again. I'm happy about this. Yes, I am very happy about this. Let's see. Probably, actually, best thing to do is to put it like over here, is to put it maybe right here. Ugh, that's not going to work well. Just thinking about turning the corner with those. I'm going to have to swing them to a corner and swing them back around. It'll be fine. We'll manage. I may have to do a couple of things here. Okay, one of the things I need to do is go creative so that I can just pop this thing in and go on and pop it into existence, and there we go. And now I need to connect those to here. To do that, I'm going to need my HV bits here. Here are some HV bits. Put that away. Here is an HV bit. And where is my... Oh, heh. There's my HV wire coil. My MV wire coil somehow got put away in the... yeah, that could have been awkward. Okay. Oh, land on the beast, and 1, 2, 3, there we go. Now, I am thinking that I can do this with just one swing if I do it right. I just have to think about where I'm placing this. It almost needs to be placed like here. I could bring the upright from this direction, and that would solve that problem. Okay. Think carefully about this. It's going to have to go out a couple more. That first one, got to swing to there. Thinking right here. And then go out 2, 3. All right, let's see if this will work here. All right. I want to swing this. HV wire coil. Right. Back. I've come off the wrong direction. Okay. Not a problem. We go this way. And we take this. Silly person. 1, 2, 3. Let's not queue them up until I'm ready to have it being a live wire here. Okay. Right now that's a dead wire, and that's a good thing. Okay, it does swing. We hit here and here. And we'll go here to there, and here to there. Around this way, and this to here. Wait. Derp. Why am I doing this? This is entirely wrong. No, what I was even talking about doing. Okay. Maybe I need to take a second and caffeinate and refocus here, because, yeah, I did that completely fucking wrong. Okay, herpaderp. Let's, put the HV stuff up. And, yeah, caffeinate. I'm just barely over half a cup here. Gotten a little sensitive to caffeine, though, so I've had to slow down because, if nothing else, if I do a little too much caffeine, it feels almost indistinguishable from an anxiety attack. And that's no fucking fun. Just no fucking fun at all. Now, I'm going to try and do this. I'm going to go there, and there, and there, and it all does attach. Nice. Shows me that it is attached. And then I'm going to go up, and hope I don't lose too much for distance here. This is supposed to be a superconductor, if I recall correctly. Let's see what actually happens. Okay, this thing right now needs a lot. It needs a lever and to be switched off so that we don't have any sort of accidental activation here. And we'll plunk a hopper and a couple of chests as usual. You know, let's not neglect the basic infrastructure here. Get that put on. Okay. I then need I don't think I need an extractor. Go look at, oh lordy, I've gotten turned around. Where the fuck am I even? There we go. Go look at that one. It does need an extractor. Okay. It does, in fact, need an extractor. Cool. I just needed to know. So we'll thunk on an extractor. And we'll rotate it around where it's pointing the correct direction. And put a chest down in front of it. There we go. Okay. I have input and output now handled. We have a geothermal exchanger here ready to rock. I'm going to fire up the geothermal exchanger. It's now getting LV from the Christmas tree up ahead. There's enough there that it should kick on. Kick this on. Let it start making steam. Kick this on. Let it come up to speed. And that winds up the alternator. Briefly, we're losing. Where'd our steam go? Where'd our steam go? The fuck? I forgot to turn on the water pump? Oh, come on. Alright, we're going to have a hell of a time trying to get ahead with just the one exchanger. I'm going to need multiple exchangers. I can see this. Alright. In the meantime, we have a rotary kiln here. And tungsten carbide. Tungsten carbide was what we were having trouble with here. Let us go find tungsten carbide powder. And I'm going to load in enough to load all the slots and kick it on. And nothing happens because why? Why am I not getting power? What's going on here? Flip it on, and I'm not getting anything. I'm not getting any input. Something's not right here. Okay, I've theoretically got a connection here. Got my cable going out. And I mean, my HV accumulators and MV accumulators are all thoroughly charged, and everything seems to be live here. Is this too long of a cable run? What is the problem that I am not getting power? I'm getting a 0 FE per tick here. I'm not getting anything. I wonder if it's because I'm trying to run that whole batch. Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to break and reform. Flip to survival mode. I'm going to do a break in order to recover that. And reform, which will pop the lever off. And put the lever back on. Okay. And now I'm seeing a little bit of power ticking in here. Oh, I'm not getting enough RPMs, am I? Because I don't have enough steam. Hold on a second. Let's walk around here. I need to look at this. Yeah, my RPMs are way too low. I'm not getting enough steam. Okay. Okay. Let's shut it down from the start here. I'm gonna shut off this first. Then that. Come around and shut that off. All right. I'm going to have to put in more geothermal exchangers. That's going to happen off stream. Let's bounce over to here. Think a second about where I am. Here we go. Over to the blast furnaces. And then first, have a look at the blast furnaces. See how they're doing. They are doing reasonably well. Okay, I need I'm going to go on and make a bit of a change here for a second. We're going to switch over take this and drop it here. And then put all that and all that in there. There we go. And that should get us more molybdenum in a little bit of time. Okay. I need more geothermal exchangers. You must construct more pylons. Jehoshaphat. Okay. You must construct more pylons. Let's get out to our friend, the arc furnace over here. Getting a little lost in my own factory, it's gotten so big. And it's not well organized. And the next time I take a run at this, basically, the next time there's a major revision that requires me to start a new factory, I have a much better idea of how it should be laid out. Power systems need to be down one side, and everything needs to grow from like a wall of power outwards so that I'm not overextending. I definitely need a massive garden cloche array. Okay, let's go on and spread that. Oops. Come on. Don't be persnickety. And click on. Yeah, I've overextended my power badly. I need multiple. What I really need is to launch from here, but to start a new factory, so that I can start with multiple steam turbines. But that's another thing entirely. All right, we are processing. It's just being slow. That's okay. Oh shit, my heat. Crack open a window here real quick. And turn up the fan. Come on, there we go. Okay, now I've made a bit of an untidy mess here, and I need to, there we go. What I needed to do done was not distribute the nickel, since I wasn't making that much. Okay, I do have enough molybdenum to finish a stack of nickel. Good. It's not using as much of it as I had feared it would. It's going very heavy on the nickel. Okay, pull the slag and go on and pull the other metals here. And let's clear this stuff. Huck all that into storage. Go, keep my stone block, that's a handy thing. And here we have ingots of hastelloy. There we go. And go on and knock hastelloy off the to-do list. Let's go put an ingot on the trophy wall. There is no triumphal march being played right now because YouTube has gotten to be really fascistic about copyright, and capitalism destroys art. Okay, hastelloy is made, and that means I also have enough hastelloy to maybe start thinking about building the big chemical reactor. I'm going to pause my game for just a second here and see if my laptop heat will drop just a little bitty bit. I'm really very deeply concerned here. I've opened the window and turned the fan up. I need to be thinking about a desktop system to replace my laptop. I don't carry it with me places normally. And I need something that I can put better cooling on, that can be expanded more readily. The problem there is that the thief technology known as AI is hoovering up all the RAM at this point. It's gotten to be that ordinary people can't get RAM upgrades for their laptops or desktop machines because it's all being bought up by to build data centers to feed stochastic parrots. You know. But, a rant about AI is for another time. Let's just say that it is based on theft. It is, and the people who support it and use it are scum who really should be taken out and publicly punished as thieves. They have stolen other people's art and tried to make a profit off of it, and that's the sort of thing you got to get horsewhipped for. I'm really becoming a big fan of the idea of just publicly horsewhipping some of these people. They don't seem to understand anything other than force directly applied. I mean, look at what they're doing with marching troops into our cities and bombing our cities and etc. etc. Yeah, I know. I'm ranting here. Well, I've got a little bit of, but the temperature has come down. Yes, thank you. There we go. Tachometer has receded slightly. We can move on. Okay. I have several things that I need to look at. Neodymium is probably the next thing I'm going to go after here. Let's see. This needs to be unloaded, and I don't need to put more copper in. I've got plenty of bronze now. Put that away. Okay, got that done. Let's stop and think a second here about what's going on, and let's look at neodymium. To get a neodymium ingot, I have to drop a neodymium crystal into the arc furnace, or neodymium grit, but crystal is probably where I'm going here. Which means I have to have a crystallizer that's fed neodymium fluorite and puts out hydrofluoric acid and crystal. We'll worry about the hydrofluoric acid in a minute. Remember what I said earlier about not always wanting to lick the science? Geology and metallurgy both use hydrofluoric acid, which is evil. It wants to kill you. Just assume malevolent intent on the part of this particular fluid. It's better that way. Fluorine binds aggressively to calcium. If you get enough of this stuff on you, the burns aren't your concern. The fluorine in your system frantically sucking up all the calcium it can get is going to shut down the calcium channels that keep your heart beating and stop your heart. You know, there's a point where it doesn't matter how fast they shove more calcium into you. It's not you can't keep up. All you can do is stave off the end. Neodymium fluorite. Neodymium fluorite, I need neodymium oxide and hydrofluoric acid. Where do I get neodymium oxide? I get it by putting neodymium compound dust through a rotary kiln at MV. I get this. Oh, look, chemical waste. Neodymium sulfate with ammonia. Oh, well, that's good news in a way. I've got a chemical waste tank over by where I also have my ammonia production. Neodymium sulfate I get from running sulfuric acid over monazite powder. So I've got to tap off the sulfuric acid that is currently all going to the hydrochloric acid maker. So we start with a reactor doing monazite powder and giving me neodymium sulfate and monazite sediment. Okay. Let's just... I'm going to do a quick thing here. I'm going to put a BRB up, and I will be right back. Partly to let the heat dissipate a little more. Okay, there we go. Let's get back to the game here. Back to this. There we go. Now, Lord of mercy, excuse me. Side effect of getting old. I cannot seem. I go pee right before I open my before I hit the start streaming button, and it just the morning stream. I cannot seem to get through the first. Get past the first hour without having to go again, and it's frustrating. Okay, now need to walk around this way. Think about where I have stuff. Let's launch here. There's my sulfuric acid there. I could theoretically shoehorn in a reactor and an output tank, but it'd be awful tight. And I'd be putting it on grid that's already stressed. I think it is better to take this line here, run it this way. Oh, excuse me. Damn it. Well, I guess I am going to have to go on and do this on stream. I need to put the new equipment over here so that I can tap into the new power source. Oh, well, that's going to be slightly annoying. I don't remember which. I think it was like the New Adventures of Peter Pan or something like that. It was a Disney morning or afternoon. It was a Disney show that gave the Lost Boys a lot more personality, and one of them was Slightly. And whoever came up with Slightly was an evil genius. It seems so innocuous that the kid is named after what appears to be his favorite word. I don't know. I think the kid was neurodivergent and they were sneaking some stuff in here. Let's see. Just thinking about here. I need to bring the pipe over. I'll flatten this out a little bit more. There we go. Leaving this up on a ridge. Okay, that ought to be plenty of room here. I need my pipe and I need my orange crush. No, I need my orange dye. Got my pipe, I've got my orange crush, and hopefully I don't get copyright dinged for one line. It's really sad that I'm worried about getting copyright dinged for singing. This is affecting my identity here. My ethnic background on my father's side is Welsh. We sing a lot. You know, you think the Irish are good at using songs to comment on stuff. You ain't ever met a Welshman. I'll take this up and over here. Talked about it on stream before. Sadly, I come from a long line of tax collectors and cops, which upsets me greatly. All cops are bastards. I am descended from a long line of bastards. Somebody said recently that they wanted to start referring to the British Empire as the pirate empire because it was basically a bunch of pirates, and referring to Queen Victoria as the great pirate Queen Victoria and such. And I'm like, hey, if I can call myself a descendant of Welsh pirates, you know, like Henry Morgan, that would be cool. I'd much rather be a descendant of a Welsh pirate. Oh, wait a minute. I don't want to bring this down. I want to just bring it over. Because it has to come to... I'm going to want an accumulator tank here. Alright, I'm going to put in an accumulator tank. Think that'll be enough room. What do you think? Oh man, I lost the grid. Alright. And let's finish the piping here to bring sulfuric acid over to here. There we go. And go see how the sulfuric acid is doing. Ooh, 27. I'm going to just dump the whole thing. Let's just see where it all goes. A dangerous thing when mucking around with sulfuric acid. But I had the advantage of a color-coded pipe. Okay, and we'll just leave this running. I should check my reverberatory furnaces while I am here. That one's out of anything to do. I gotta find something for it to do. What have I got that can be reverbed? Have I got anything I can reverb? Ugh. Appetite. What happens with appetite? I don't think it gets reverb, does it? Appetite. It gets ball milled. Okay, that's not gonna work. Crushed lead, crushed platinum, pyrolusite. Pyrolusite, I think, gets ball milled. Yeah, I don't see any slag for it. Scheelite doesn't get slagged. Silver, thorianite, zircon, any of it? Nope. I got nothing. I'm going to have to go mine stuff to have stuff to throw into this reverb. That's kind of annoying. Take down the orange dye. I'm no longer singing about the orange and the green here. Well, I'll split off some of that and pop it over there to make sure that's got plenty of coke, but I don't think there's anything I can do here. I'm going to run out of stuff to reverb, which means I'm going to run out of sulfuric acid. In the meantime, I have brought sulfuric acid over to here. Yes, I have. I brought a fairly large amount of sulfuric acid over here. And we were going to be starting our journey to neodymium by creating neodymium sulfate by running monazite against sulfuric acid. So I need a basic chemical reactor. Small chemical reactor. Small chemical reactor goes here. Right? Think a second. I can't see the grid is the problem. Okay. Think it's facing the correct direction and where I need it. Let's bonk it and see. Okay, yeah, there's an input. So, bibbity bobbity, there's your input. Bob's your uncle. Something like that. Put away the chemical reactor right now. Let's get a lever on this so that I can, and a lever on this and switch it off. And review our recipe, because if we're going to make neodymium sulfate, we're going to produce monazite sediment as an output, which means I need a chest, and I'm going to need cable. Let's go on and get that put in, and then I can just swap it out for the hopper. Here we go. Now, down, 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 clickety, clickety, pop, up. Hopper. Chest. In French, chapeau. Okay. That's taken care of. We are able to capture the monazite sediment coming out. I need to come around here and attach here to what is obviously a solid input port. Thank you. And we put chest and chest and hopper. And go cable. Cable, cable. Cable, cable. Cable, cable, cable. Cable, cable. Oops. Cable, cable. Oops. Misplaced. There we go. All right, get out of the way. All done. Okay. Brilliant. This is going to be dedicated to doing monazite. Doing dedicated small reactors feels a lot like the older, the Queen has her tea, it is Earl Grey. Ooh. There's an Earl Grey with vanilla that I get occasionally that is really nice. Let's see, I need monazite. Monazite. Where is my monazite? Here is my monazite powder. Where is my flat, smooth river rock? Little Davy says. Okay. Dave Gardner was a Southern comedian who did a sort of Southern preacher routine. He was known as Brother Dave, but Brother Dave told some pretty off-color material in the style of a preacher. He was something else. I can probably do the entire story of oh lordy, what was the character's name? The biker, and Miss Baby was the girlfriend. Got her stashed in the sidecar. She's not happy about that. I believe adding milk to your vanilla Earl Grey would result in a London fog. Interesting. Okay, let's see. We got our monazite. We got our sulfuric acid. Let's do a thing here. Let's go on and fill the reactor here. There's our reactor filled. And then we have to think about where our electrical power is coming from, because we don't have any. And the electrical power, I'm thinking I ought to run a line just right down the side here. Let me get this, and this to start with, and I'll do wiring in a minute. Wire in a second. First, I gotta land on this pipe so that I can then crouch and put that on. Then I can swap this out for wire. And think about where this is going to be wired to. Probably here, I'm thinking. This ought to connect, yes, with no problems. I can then take this down to here, and I'm going to just put one right there at the corner of this tank, of this silo here. Then go off around that. I need to come around this, give it a little clearance. What's our clearance, Clarence? And let's see if what I have eyeballed here will function. Ping. Ping. And ping. There we go. Got 3 MV accumulators linked in to feed this thing. We've got power. We have monazite. We have sulfuric acid. Let's kick this pig. I do not know where that comes from, actually. I picked it up from my eldest. She started using it at some point. I'm not quite sure where she picked it up. I believe. Okay, at which point we should have neodymium sulfate. We do. We forgot an important thing. We forgot to put an output buffer, and that is just a critical omission on my part, and I am just absolutely ashamed of myself for forgetting to put in an output buffer. That's just, wow. It's a massive oversight. There we go. Let's get this put in so that the neodymium sulfate that we just made has somewhere to go. And we've connected it to the input, haven't we? Done that. I've done that one before. Okay, not a problem. I'm going to recenter this. I'm just batting 1,000 today as far as placement of things and how things ought to be connected. I'm not yapping and my mind is wandering. I'm losing focus. And hard to maintain focus under this kind of stress, you know? Before deciding that you are depressed, consider the possibility that you are instead surrounded by assholes. Okay, there we go. Now we've got a tank and it's got some neodymium sulfate in it. Hurrah! We have made neodymium sulfate and we are preparing to pipe it where? Neodymium sulfate gets sent onward and reacted with ammonia to make neodymium compound dust and chemical waste. So I need to bring ammonia. And my ammonia, oh lordy, where is my damn ammonia? It's up here, isn't it? Here's my ammonia. Oh lordy. It's not conveniently located at all. I feel like I maybe should just make another ammonia maker, you know? As this one is just not reachable. I'm going to go on and flip the lever and let it drain out. Might as well send it downstream. Okay, I don't know. This is a long distance. I can put a pipe on there and color code it. Let's see. DYE. I don't think I've used yellow. No, I haven't. Never held a piece of yellow dye in my life. Fine. Let's go. Let's put on a yellow pipe here. Bring it up to here and then think about where I'm taking it. Where I'm going is over here. Down this way. I need to get to a reactor that's going to be like here, maybe. So if I could put an ammonia tank here and route it to a fluid tank, and then over. That would be better. Let's put a tank here. Okay, I want to bring the yellow pipe. Where's the yellow pipe? There it is. I want to bring the yellow pipe over to that tank. Let's bring the yellow pipe up a couple more notches. Oh, feel like I want to shoot it through here, over the top of this, and then around and down. All right. I'm going to bring it up 2 more, and then over, over, and sight along it. It's not quite where I want it. That looks about right. Let's bring it down this way. And this is why refineries look the way they do. Because at some point you got to run a pipe a long way to get something. Whoops. That was close. Don't want to land on that thing. Nothing else. I think there's a heat issue. You know, not a good idea to drop onto a running diesel generator. That lines up with that. It does not line up with this. This looks like it lines up. Whoops. Must not do any music. Can't do musical references. This is inhibiting my cultural identity. Damn it. Okay, got a tank here. Now the question being, will it get ammonia in it? Let us go to the ammonia works, which has diddly squat to output, but there it went. Get that little squirt out. This needs calcium slag powder, which means I need to throw calcium slag into a ball mill. I think I'm about out of it. I need to go mine more. Or just, creative in or something. All right, we got ammonia over here. I got neodymium sulfate over here. Go check the sulfuric acid and see if anything has accumulated. Diddly squat, but I'll put it over anyway. And over to here. And that should just flow on through, right? No? Okay. There's rather a lot in the tank. Let's leave the tank open. And I'm going to run this until it runs dry. That's going to have done it. That's down to too little amount of sulfuric acid to do anything with. All right, so we got neodymium sulfate there. We got got ammonia over here, which is waiting on sulfuric acid and various other things. Waiting on calcium slag. Excuse me. That's waiting on calcium slag. This is waiting on sulfuric acid. I need to neodymium sulfate. put it into a chemical reactor with ammonia and get chemical waste and neodymium compound dust. So I need the small chemical reactor, and I need to know where my chemical waste tank is. Oh lordy, it's all the way over here. That is way too far. Alright, we're going to put in a new chemical waste tank. Fuck it. Let's see. Down, 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 down. I've got two inputs here. I want to put this one roughly here. Let's see if that's where I think it is. It gives me a space there. Yeah. It's a little snug, but I have to think about, wait a minute. Where's my power going to come from? Power is going to have to come down this side. Come in. Fine. Not a problem. We'll just run another power line. Not a big deal. All right. Hammer. Lever. And down. And before I hook fluids up, let's get the steel post and the wire connector and the relay and start getting this thing connected in so that it will have power to run on. And we'll put a post here. He thrusts his fists against the posts and still insists he sees the ghosts. I can still do that one without running into copyright, as far as I know. Barful, barful, barful. Okay, I'm going to go outside the boundary here and down along the line of sand to here. And then I'm going to tap into a bunch of those on this side. Okay. And back to here. And back to here. And make sure that the line will run. I'm kind of enclosing a space here. I'm not careful. Too far away? What? Oops. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There we go. And from there to here. From there to there. And then from here, I'm going to go down to there. Why not? Because that's the input. Where's the fucking output? Okay, now I got a goose chasing me around screaming, where's the output? Where's the output? Where's the fucking output? Oh, I've screwed myself here on a couple of these, haven't I? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. We're going to pop that one out of existence. And I'm going to take an MV accumulator, drop a new one there, plunk that there, ignore the wire floating around. Oops. What did I just connect? No, that's not what I meant to do. Give me a pair of wire snips. Where are my wire cutters? Where are my engineer's wire cutters? They're in my backpack. Give me my wire cutters. Snippy. Snippy. this goes to here, and this goes to here. And then we go click and click and click, and we set to output. And go connect from there up to there. Damn it. Can I connect from there to there? No. Shit. What is the goddamn problem here? The post is in the way. That's really frustrating. Okay, swap the wire cutters for the post. Swap this. Let's put the post over here and see if the shallower angle will allow me to make the connection. Why, yes, it will. Go. And now I have power going up to here, and I should have power going on over to here. And that should bring power to here. There it does. Okay. All right. Did I mention I'm not actually an electrical engineer? I know a bit about wiring because my father taught me about it, but it was one of the very few useful things he taught me. He taught me a lot of bullshit, and that he tried to teach me that violence was a primary answer to problems, and it should never be a primary answer. The only thing that violence should be a primary answer to is violence directed toward you. You know, use it in defense. Somebody gets violent with you, and you're perfectly justified in making them stop by whatever means necessary. But okay, input there, and this comes around. You'll be coming around that mountain when she comes. Can't do that either. I am deprived of cultural references here because I cannot sing. I'm upset. What is coming out of this one? We are taking neodymium sulfate and we are going to mix it with ammonia. We're going to get chemical waste and neodymium compound dust, which then gets kilned into oxide and turned into fluorite and then crystallized, and we finally get neodymium. Okay, but the important thing is right now I'm getting chemical waste and neodymium compound dust. So I am getting a solid output. I'm going to need to remove some more of this to have it out of the way. Where's my stone block? Fortunately, I kept my stone block. Some guys will literally rant on a Minecraft stream rather than go to therapy. I might as well go on and make the crack about myself here, you know? If you cannot joke about yourself, you do not have the right to joke about other people. No, not even when you're punching up. And you should always punch up. You should never punch down. First, you learn to laugh at yourself. Because we're all fucking ridiculous. Every one of us. We're absolutely ludicrous. I mean, you really look at a human at what kind of oddball animal we are and at the weird shit that we do, and we're just fucking ludicrous. Okay, I got solid stuff coming out, so that means I gotta make a thing here to capture it with the hopper and the cable and the whole bit, and the extractor, yada yada yada. We'll go on and get this going here. Let's get our Tom's cable run up. This is going to come off of here, and it's going to come over, need to come over 2, I think. I've gotten pretty good at eyeballing these, except when I completely lose focus and start doing the wrong thing entirely. Okay, put that away, bring this down. It should be a little easier to do now because I can simply point down and bop. There it goes. Okay, done. Done. Solid output is taken care of. Fluid output is going to be a gross thing, and I'm going to want to put, let's put a brown dye on it. And here's this, and I need the fluid tank schematic. Fluid tank is going to go over here. Let's see, why don't I just put this fluid tank right next to this one? Just like that. I have grid again. Yay! Okay, there is no point in taking this any further than I have to. So, brown pipe, oops, goes there, and that goes to a chemical waste tank. And we can just put it right up against the other tank that won't cause any problems at all. Okay. Stop and think. Chemical reactor connected to the ammonia supply. Ammonia supply has no lever on it, needs a lever. There's 50 ways to love your lever. Turn it on. Oh, this lever is now in a bad place, but I think I can still hit it. Clickety. Yes, I can in fact still hit it. Okay, get it over here. We got neodymium sulfate. We got ammonia. Don't got much ammonia, but I got a little ammonia. Let's go on and kick. There we go. Flip the switch. Push the button, Frank. Okay. Bip, that's it. We got that. Let's go over to our MV kiln, which isn't doing anything right now. And if we look in the storage, we should see neodymium compound dust. I got 1. I'm going to put it in the kiln. Zip. Okay. At which point I should then have neodymium oxide somewhere in here. Should be a neodymium oxide in here somewhere. There it is. Got it. Neodymium oxide goes to a pelletizer. No, it does not. I'm getting ahead of myself. Neodymium oxide. Oh lordy, this is where I have to make hydrofluoric acid. Neodymium oxide does not go to the pelletizer. God damn it. All right. I thought I was closer than that. I forgot I had steps. Always check your recipe. I need to make hydrofluoric acid. To make hydrofluoric acid, I need to pass sulfuric acid over fluorite. Everything needs goddamn sulfuric acid to start with. Okay. I have sulfuric acid, theoretically. Right now it's all going into there. Could bring a pipe from this tank around this way and through here to here. Power it off there or there, either one. I need a chemical reactor to run sulfuric acid against fluorite and make, oh, wait a minute, that's a fluid tank. I'm going to need a fluid tank in as well, but I first have to have a small chemical reactor, which I'm going to try and put here. Oh, foo, I got no grid again. Damn it. Yet the fluid output is on the wrong side. I got to face it the other direction. All right, I got to face it this direction. Think about where I'm putting it. Okay, did not clip the wire. And it gives me the fluid output on this side. It's going to be a little tight in here. All right, now, to make hydrofluoric acid does have a solid output. It puts out calcium compound dust, damn it. Okay, which means I gotta have an output here. I also have to have a fluid tank. I'm going to put my fluid tank here. Okay, output goes to this fluid tank. Oh shit. I clipped the damn wire. Alright, let's see if I can restring it now that this is formed. No. It's clipping across there. Okay, that's actually less of a problem than it might seem to be, because I can just put my post here, no, here, thank you, and redo it. We'll simply move the post. Moving the utility post is a fair move. Moving a goalpost is never a fair move. There we go. Fair move accomplished and current restored. Now, I also have to think about this. But this looks like it's going to be relatively simple, maybe. We hope, please. For once, let it go smooth, you know. There we go. Got power to this reactor. This reactor needs input from the sulfuric acid tank, which is here. And I am going to need, once again, the brown dye. Make sure that this does not intersect with anything else accidentally. Let's just bring it on around here and there and there, and there we go. And we can get sulfuric acid into this when there is sulfuric acid to bring over. Okay. Okay, sulfuric acid comes in. What else goes in is fluorite, which has to come in here. And yes, I know I still have to build the Tom's cables and an extractor and all that sort of bullshit. Working on it, I'm working on it. This goes in on here, this goes on here, and that there, and then I have to be able to take this up without hitting a wire. Let's see, where's my hopper? Here's my hopper. Done with the chest, I think. Well, I'm done with that hopper. Let's swap it for the chest. I may need it on the other side. I want to do a snatch of Wolf Creek Pass here, but copyright. Okay, that's going to be coming off of there and going up on this side. Nope, can't do a reference to Stand by REM either. Bolton. Okay, taking up a short one there is because, you know, it would look ridiculous to go up that far. Okay. This needs, let's see. This needs fluorite. Fluorite powder specifically. Okay. Fluorite powder. Fluorite powder. Vast quantities. Fluorite powder. Prepared for this. And we'll just start loading this up with fluorite. There we go. Alrighty. Let's go over here. There's nothing in there. Is there anything to send to it? Yes, there is. I should have left this open. Leave that tap open at this point. Sulfuric goes over here. Push on the push 'em, pull on the pull 'em, and the pickles go into the jar. I've got 71 millibuckets of sulfuric acid. Because this got, something else got first dibs, I think. Yeah, this got first dibs on it. So we're going to be a long time getting sulfuric acid. Okay, I am running down to a point where I just don't have the materials. Hydrofluoric acid made. Okay, hydrofluoric acid goes against the neodymium oxide. So this has to go be piped to another chemical reactor. It's going to be piped to another chemical reactor that's going to go here. Really wish I could see the grid. All right. Input is on this end, output is on this end. That's cool. Okay, here's this. Okay, we pipe hydrofluoric acid from to there. And let's see, I need to put a lever onto the tank here. Okay, this is making hydrofluoric acid. Good. I'm actually okay with it going on and making it as it's able to. Let's just leave it to run. We'll get this loaded up in a minute. This is going to be producing, we're taking neodymium oxide and running it against hydrofluoric acid, and we get neodymium fluorite. So I need an output tank. Don't think I'm going to get through this before the end of stream because I've only got a couple of minutes, but I'm going to go on and get this far at any rate. All right, whoops. And this is going to be running There we go. This is going to be running neodymium oxide. Now, I think now I only have one neodymium oxide to my name at the moment, but that is enough to tag that and load it in. And then I'm going to send the hydrofluoric acid to the reactor, and reactor has hydrofluoric acid, reactor has no power. which I can correct fairly easily. There we go. Okay, reactor to power, turbines to speed. Let's flip that on and see if it does anything here. With only one neodymium oxide and that little smidge, we have in fact made neodymium fluorite. Next step is a crystallizer and hydrofluoric acid recovery, but that is going to have to wait until next week because we are hitting the top of the hour, and you have wasted another 2 hours watching me fart around with Minecraft. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you watching me fart around with Minecraft and listening to me rant. If you have enjoyed the Minecraft in this and can put up with me, there are previous episodes on YouTube. URL is in the lower right of your screen. You'll also find a lot of other stuff there, which I'll talk about in a minute. Upper left corner is the truck community streaming schedule, community of streamers that I am proud to be a member of. There's stuff going on every day of the week, a wide variety of streams to tune into. A lot of people doing stuff. Check it out. There's quite a bit going on. I will be back next week, 8 a.m. Pacific time, same bat channel with more Immersive Geology. I may be much more angry at the Australian government at that point because of things going on, but we'll see what happens. There will be trains in tech one way or another. I'm going to finish neodymium, gosh dog it. So, before then, I will be back tomorrow evening with a much more chill stream. 6 p.m. Sundays Pacific time, Roots of Pacha, which is a farm sim and dating sim in which a Neolithic people invent agriculture and the polycule. And you just have to see it. It's a lovely piece. It's got much more queer content than Stardew Valley and is just fantastically written. The authors have done a magnificent job, and so please join me tomorrow night, 6 p.m. here for Roots of Pacha, and next week, 8 a.m. for more Minecraft. Until then, safe journey, space fans.